Okay, this is Jacob Schmidt with deerhuntingschool.com. Just sitting here looking at a piece of property for someone. This is actually public property here. It is it's a little under 2,000 acres. So it's a pretty good size area. It's just right under 3 square miles. So it's got enough room to hold, uh, several mature bucks on it, you know and the areas around it definitely have potential to hold some mature bucks. Now, it looks like looks like possibly some of these are, some agricultural stuff going on, and it's not really. It's all um, clear cuts, logging, and stuff like that that's going on. So the deer don't have the agriculture nutrition, but they definitely have, some good a variety of habitats. That was one thing that impressed me about this property was the variety of the habitat that's on it. Now I'm going to look at the very north part of this property here, and what I mean by variety of habitat is the different kinds of habitat that join each other. Now this, I'm going to pull out a pin. Now, from here to here is about 1.5 miles, okay? From there to there is about 1.5 miles. And you have one type of habitat here, and I'm going to mark them all the same too. And what I mean by that, these have been cut, this has all been logged and cut at different times, which is creating different types of habitat for the deer. Some of it's going to be bedding, some of it's going to be feeding, some of it's really good bedding, some of it's going to be really good food source for the deer, and cover and different things like that at different times of the year, and the deer can utilize that very well. Okay, and here's a different time frame. Here's a different. Okay, this is different type of habitat, and I'm marking them all the same. They're somewhat the same. Okay, this is different. Okay, that may be about the same. 8, and this kind of looks like 6. Actually, there's different type of habitat here because you have a creek. So there's a creek, dry creek. I don't know if there's wet creek. If some of them are dry creek and some of them are wet creek, that's even different types of habitat. Okay. You've got 10 different, at least, we're just looking, 10 different types of habitat in this area. That's all joined together in bunch. Really good for the deer. So you should really be able, this area should be able to sustain quite high numbers of deer. Now, as far as quality food, they're lacking that because they don't have the ag fields and probably not a whole lot of food plots and stuff like that with really high quality food. But they have tons of different types of habitat, which is really good, can sustain a lot of deer and grow some decent deer. So there's some potential for quite a few deer and the potential for some, a couple, really nice deer bucks, okay? And that interested me there. Now, as far as, funnels like most people would see and they would look at, look at this property, as far as most people would see, there aren't a whole lot of funnels, or at least maybe even any, that most people would see. I mean, you could look at some of this and, there's not, it's all flat pretty much. And there's no huge fields to keep deer, funneled down a woodlot or something. They have tons of cover. Okay, there's tons of cover. These have been cut. These areas here, as I zoom in on it, you see here, you see the tree, you can see the ground. You can see the tree, you can see the ground. This is really thick. Should be really, really nice and thick. Okay, areas like this I think this is an old logging pad. This here's the same thing where they actually had their log trucks and stuff set when they were doing some cutting through here. This here's a different type of. This here may be some really young trees, not sure here. But then you got these oaks. Looks like possibly some oaks. I say you got these oaks. They may not be oaks. They may be gum trees. But then you look here. You see that matter of fact, you can see a tree laying down there where they done some cutting, left it a log laying there, so you can actually see the ground. This is some thick, nice looking stuff. Okay. So you've got lots of cover. The area, one thing I didn't notice, Brian, that I didn't see any available water that I could really see on aerial photo on this property. If you know where there's some water on here or can find a good water source, it's going to be a hot spot. I can tell you that. Because there's not a ton of it. Doesn't look like. Could be a dang swamp, but I don't think it is. So, a lot of people would look at this and it'd be really tough. And I've looked at it and I can notice some things that aren't necessarily what the average person would consider funnels, but I consider them funnels. And that is this area here, coming down into here. I consider that a funnel. Path of least resistance. I believe you've got deer bedded here, bedded here, bedded here. Probably got deer bedded here where they can come down this. You may have deer bedded even here, probably feeding in there. You've got deer probably feeding here. Okay, we've got deer bedding in here, and I can show you that real quick if I pan back on a different time zone. This is why, guys, this is one reason Google Earth is so valuable. It allows you to go back different. I got a map I want to look at here. Right, I think I just skipped it by one. Right there, this one right here. Okay, and I want to talk about this area. You've got this area here was used as a funnel while these clear cuts were really open, and this should have been used as a funnel while these clear cuts were really open. Okay, now they're not anymore, but the deer have built ancestral habits of just following other deer up and down there, as far as them being funnels. Now, I believe them to be the path of least resistance, coming up through here from deer bedding here like we just talked about, and that's the reason I think these deer are bedded here. This was cut in 2005, 2006, somewhere right in that. It probably was cut in 2005 and hasn't really had time to really grow back yet. Or it's probably cut in 2006 and hasn't had time to grow back yet. Matter of fact, we can just look. This is 2005, so it looked like it might have been cut in 2005. Yep, I think it was cut in 2005 and hasn't had time to grow back yet. Now, 2006, basically nothing but dirt. And then here you start here you can see regrowth coming up. This picture was late spring of 2006. This picture here was taken. Okay, you can definitely see some green up. So the deer really started hitting this as feeding areas. They were using these as funnels and hitting these for feeding areas. Now, as we go to now, we have a bedding area. But before I get out of that, I want to go back to the same picture here, because you see here a lot of cutting, and I showed you that being real thin as far as a canopy tree, which grows thick undergrowth. So this, you probably got bedding in here, probably got some bedding going on in here, some bedding going on in here, some bedding going on in here. So when I say, and you've probably got bedding going on here, and I think we said here, maybe there, but anyways, you've got bedding in all these, and maybe even here. You've probably got bedding going on all over the place. And you've got deer, especially during the rut, these bucks going to take the path least resistance cruising up through here as he goes from bedding area to bedding area to bedding area to bedding area, checking for does and scent checking does. Okay, so let's just say that we have a northwest wind and it's, first, October the 8th, November the 8th. Okay, bucks are seeking. They're really looking for does being heat. and they're really for the most part having a hard time. Actually, down here they may be even December. Where this is at could be even December before they really start their heavy seeking. But anyways, they're getting into their seeking phase. And this area, yeah, this area down here, your seeking may really, your main rut may hit in December in this area. Okay, but anyways, we're just saying we're in the seeking phase. And this buck, he's going to go from bedding area to bedding area, and he's just really searching, looking for those. Okay, and he is hot and heavy, cruising and getting, downwind of these. He comes down through here, and he wants to really get downwind of these bedding areas and stuff as he cruises down through here and checks these bedding areas. So this area here, to me, looks pretty good. Possible stand somewhere in here. Here. Okay. I'm going to erase all that. Because there's one other thing I noticed on this property. You have this one band that runs completely through the entire property. That anywhere up and down it. And this is that band, and you can see it. Okay, it runs through the entire property. You see that. It kind of branches off here. And there's another one right in here. It's hard to see on this map. And it kind of, collides here. But anywhere, areas like this where they were coming together, change colors. Areas like that right there, possible good stand locations. Areas like this right here where there's two of them come together. It looks like there's another one comes in like this. And I know that's right on one of the roads, so that may not be that good. But areas where that kind of forks off and on that path. Let me erase all that big old yellow thing where we can see it better. So you've got, possible here. It looks like there's one comes up. Maybe not. It runs like that. Plumb up through here. This right here. There's multiple habitats come together in one spot here. 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 So that's an area of interest. You've got this where it forks off kind of like that. That's an area of interest. And I'm not sure what this is. It looks like maybe a dry creek or a creek that runs down through there. And it comes plumb up to the top. And then these fork, like this and this. So, right in where they merge together, to me, really looks like a good spot. And then you have another one that comes up somewhere here. You can't really see it that good on this map, but where them come together is really hot. And we're going to just slowly pan this in different dates, because there's a few photos that really right there really stands out. I don't know if you can see it, but I'm just going to draw it. I mean, it's here. It comes up like that, and you can see how it forks and runs up here and right here. It kind of goes off here. And actually, that runs out into this finger here. You'll see in just a second. I'm just going to leave. And this runs up here. And it goes like plumb up like that. And then it goes up here and forks. And we can't see that fork there. You have to look at different time zones. And it actually comes off like this somewhere here. And it may actually run plumb up to here like that. But any place where you have these multiple areas coming together, I believe there's probably, I would really want to walk this and check it out, because I believe the bucks are going to use this cruising up through here as they search. This looks like a really nice thick areas where a lot of deer can bed all over the place. and you just need to find the area of least resistance where they can really cruise and cover some ground. Because when you start getting, you know, I don't know, you've got almost 3 square miles here, and you've probably got about 45 deer per square mile on this area. So there's, you know, almost 150 deer. You know, and if you figure, you know, let's just, even if 40% of them, or, you know, 50%, 40%, if you had 60 of them bucks and they start cruising, you know, obviously some of them are going to be young, but you're going to have a handful of mature bucks. It's really cruising this property. Okay, you want to find that path, and anywhere where you have several of them, a couple of them paths come together in one spot are going to be your hot spots. Okay, and I think that I would like to really walk that. If I were you, I would walk that and check that out where I have drawn out right there. You may have to mark you some GPS marks on it. I'm going to continue here to change. Let's just go back. We'll just look at all the maps. You can't see it hardly at all in the black and white. So let's just go forward. And I know this is, you can't see nothing hardly there, but you can see it there in spots. And there's where I was saying that comes out in that clear cut. Okay, them deer can really hit that and really cruise. And it may kind of weave in and out here. I don't know what it is. I think it's the creek. That's what I think it is. And we'll look in a second. But you can see it there really nice a little bit. There you can see a little. There you can see it. And you can see the undergrowth. In this picture here, you can really see the undergrowth here on them. You can really see the undergrowth on them in there, where that's going to be really thick. Deer can really pile up in there. They'll have quite a bit of food, browse and stuff, and be able to, you know, really get away from the hunting pressure on the outside. So that there interests me. You can see it pretty good there. Okay, here we go. Let me pull my pen back up. You see here, and then you have this little finger here that kind of runs out. You got a little finger here that kind of runs out. You know, that's a possible good looking spot. You get this little finger here that kind of runs out. Actually looks like that may run like that, and this may kind of run up here, something like that. So, you know, you've got this here, looks kind of good. Here does. This is, you know, right. This actually kind of looks like it may run here, but looks more like heavier canopied stuff, and we're going to talk about that in a second. But let me go to another picture. Okay, and then that's the most recent picture. Let's go back to this picture really quick and just look at, you know, some areas that really kind of stand out. Here, 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 here. This area stands out, and it stands out more than one reason. I'll show you in a minute. Looks like there's possible multiple stuff coming together for that. Yeah, this area here. I really think deer can bed most anywhere up through here. All up through here. I mean, this was all cut, thinned a long time ago. You can see the regenerated undergrowth in it, in between these trees, even from being this zoomed out. it looks like there should be some really nice undergrowth going on. Now I know you said that there was fire lane, so if they're doing any burning, they could be producing some really nice food sources. This property here, you really want to do your mapping it. You really want to map it and really get map this area. And Brian, you have access to that in the member deal. And anyone else that's watching this, you really I would want to suggest that you get the mapping deer in a deer hunting area online course, and study that, because that is going to be one of your greatest assets, is you can understand as having a good laid out map that's properly mapped out for the reason that it's going to affect the deer. You can go through here and map all kinds of stuff out. I can map tons of stuff on this area, but if I don't map the correct things, it does me no good. The deer don't care where the road is. The deer don't care where, north is or south is or east is or whatever. They don't care about that kind of stuff. They care about where they're going to get their next meal, where they're going to bed down, where they're going to, travel where it's safe. They're going to, they care about that kind of stuff. So that mapping course is really definitely, and Brian, you have access to it in your members deal, so just check it out. It's a class. It's different than the actual course, but you'll get the same thing out of it. So anyways, I want to erase that, and this is the reason you want to map this out, because you've got hardwoods down through here. You really need to know what kind of time if these are oaks, what kind of oaks they are, and when that food's actually available to these deer. Okay. Here, same thing. I want to check this stuff out. I want to figure out what this is. I believe I have deer bedded here. Okay, that's one thing that makes this area here so hot to me. I've got deer bedded here, got deer bedded here, deer bedded here, and I'll just have deer bedded here, here, wherever. I'm just putting some bees here, down here. But I have deer bedded down here. I've got deer bedded here, got deer bedded here. I've got deer, depending on the timing on these, stuff, and depending on the timing of the food source here on these hardwoods, depends on when I have deer coming in here to feed, into these areas from all over. Okay, coming here, feeding their way down, off of the property, coming here, feeding their way down, off the property, that kind of stuff. So this area is not only, sort of a funnel for the deer to really travel, but they're really going to be feeding in these area here, depending on what time that is available. And if you let's say you have white oaks here, let's just say there's a band of white oaks that runs down through here. If it's a small band, big band, whatever, if it is, that's preferred food source when them white oaks are dropping. That is the spot you want to be. You have that many bedding areas that close to the only white oaks for a long ways away, you're going to have, tons of deer on there. You're going to have some nice bucks coming up through there. And that's just taking advantage of the food. That's not taking advantage of him when he starts getting the urge to start chasing does. So, if there is some white oaks, I don't know. I can't tell, but I can guarantee you if I was hunting this property, I would know what kind of trees them were. Same thing with here. I would know when they're available food source. I would map it out. It would look like what you'll see when you look at the mapping thing of the area I talk about. And then here, this group of trees interests me. I want to figure out what kind they are. Map that out. Is that a time I need to hunt that at a certain time? Okay. Same thing here. Now they're scattered out. Some hardwoods scattered all out through here. Um, but there's an area here, that interests me here. This here, I want to see when that's available. I've got deer bedded. You've got deer bedded all over the place. This is a type of I believe you have deer bedded all over the place here. And I know I'm zooming in and out, and it gets kind of dizzy, when I do that. But I'm just wanting to show you. I mean, here you can see the ground. Actually, I didn't notice any water. I'm not sure, but that right there looks like it may be a pond. Right there. If that's a pond, it looks like it might be. If this is a pond, you want to mark that on your GPS and get in there to it. That looks like it might be a pond. Boy, it sure looks like it. Let me see. There maybe are other people hunting it if it's the only pond on the place, but boy, it looks like it right there. Good picture. Oh man. It may not be a pond, but I'm trying to find a good picture of it that I can zoom in. I guess I need to zoom out a little bit. I don't know if it's a pond or not. If it is, well, if it is, it'd be a hot spot. If there's not a whole lot of water. I don't know. It don't really look like it might be. I can't tell. I only get that one picture where it looks like it might be a pond. And it sure looks like a pond there. I think it is. I'm not sure. If that's a pond, even if it ain't, I want to check that out. It's going to be real close to, this area here. Anyways, mark out on your GPS there. And I'd get in there and check that out. But I'd want to walk all these edges as well, looking for rub lines coming in and out of this stuff. But what I was showing, I forgot what the heck I was showing you. Was here how this is probably really thick. You see a log laying here on the ground, so you can definitely see the ground. So you should have some really nice undergrowth. Should be thick. There's another log right there. A log here. To where this looks like it's got really heavy canopy. Like this shouldn't be really super thick. I could be wrong, but it doesn't look like it should be thick under the undergrowth. Like this same way. This looks like it's really thick, heavy canopy, unless this is really young trees. But I want to walk these edges of all this. And you can take this out in blocks and start mapping this stuff out. Walk these edges, finding these rub lines in and out, wherever they go. Mapping these food sources, mass producing these acorns, and when they're available. Do it just like pretty close to how I show in the deal in the class. See here, I can see the ground again. I really think there's deer going to be bedded all over the place. I mean, I see the ground all over the place. So I don't think you're going to lack bedding areas. You just need to get them food sources when they're available and target them when they're available. You need to target these path least resistance up through here, target these edges and stuff like that where these deer can really, cover some ground. These bucks can cover ground getting in and out of here. Yeah, see here's the ground again. There's the ground here. Should be very thick. It's nice looking stuff. This here looks like it's got some really young trees here. This is actually a logging pad, I think, right there, when they've done some cutting on this. I know I'm moving this around a lot, but I'm just looking at make sure that I really think it's all real thick. This area here, I think is pretty thick too. Some of these old roads or trails up through here, you want to walk them, looking for scrapes, rub lines up and down them. That deer can cover, bucks can cover, quite a bit of range pretty quick. Scent checking for does and them things. And there's several of them right here. You want to walk these here. Looks like what that looks like. They kind of come all right there in one point there. Okay, so I think I really think this area has some potential to hold several good bucks in the area. Okay, because of the variety of the habitat. I mean, if you look at this here, at this picture here, there's just all kinds of different habitat on the property, and then off the edge, there's tons of different habitat all over it. There's a lot of potential of the deer to have good habitat year-round somewhere because of the variety of habitat, and that makes a huge, keeps the deer where they'll stay in the area. There'll be a lot of deer in the area, and then obviously there's potential some good bucks. And I think these areas over here are no hunting, but I may have them mapped in the thing. So anyways, I hope you enjoyed this video here. Brian, if you have any questions, email me and help you out best I can. I really think if you'll get on them areas and check them areas out and walk up and down them and check some of them areas that I pointed out, you'll find some good spots. Them bucks are going to go to cruising, and you need to time that out and be there when they do that. Okay. Hope you enjoyed the video. This is Jacob Schmidt with deerhuntingschool.com. Hope everyone enjoyed the video. Check out deerhuntingschool.com for more educational resources, tips, things like that on deer hunting. Everybody have a good day, and bye-bye.